guys, as the entrepreneur, as the business owner, and as the human that built an empire on pain and trauma and driven by that, the season here is that learning to let go.
If you can find something that you can find someone to do 80% of you, even 60, 70% of you, if you can get 3 or 4 people being 60, 70% of you in your business.
What's cool is that being at home with your family and not having to trade your time for money, that's cool.
What is up, crew, and welcome to another episode of Spill the Tea with the beautiful Bo and the charismatic Kirsty.
Charismatic?
I don't know, that came out of nowhere.
Is it charismatic? Or?
Charismatic, whatever.
Charismatic. We make language up here.
We make our own words up here.
We do.
Today we are going to talk all about buying back your time, hiring staff, creating a bigger community inside your business so you can have more time to do the things you love and focus on the things that you love in your life and not just your business. And a quick one that I want to go into is we work with regulation, we work on mental health, we work with allowing people to love their lives and be fulfilled and stepping into their true authentic versions of themselves while making money with the business strategies that they need to implement into their life to create what they want and still being passionate and purposeful. So one quick thing that I really want to explain is I want you to imagine that there's a woman that loves baking. She absolutely loves baking. It lights her up. So what she does is she creates a business out of that. Now, what happens is she grows a team. She hires in these young bakers to take over. She's got people doing everything. And now she's running around after emails. She's trying to manage everybody. She's stressed out of her tits, if I can say that word.
And have a wahoo.
Yeah, and she's just honestly, and then she's constantly full of anxiety. She's spending less time with her kids. And things just get hectic really quickly. But the business is booming. And she can't take it to the next level because she doesn't have the capacity personally.
And she's not even enjoying the business anymore.
And she's not even enjoying the business anymore.
She's making the money and she's doing the thing.
And this is where we take it back to, why did you start this business? Because she loves baking. She's not even baking anymore. So this episode is really about how you buy back your time, how you do things that you love, staying passionate and purposeful. We have a lot of business owners in We Be Success that have been doing business for 10s or 20s of years, and the passion's gone, or they're not happy, or they don't like the clients, or they don't like dealing with their own staff, and it's absolutely horrible. So what Kirsty and I have done in our business, mainly Kirsty, is we have now required a lot of staff. We've also been through a lot of staff, which is a lesson in its own. And I truly believe that the more stuff that you go through, the more it's sort of like a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, you learn what boundaries to set. You know what things to do. So, you know, now we have weekly meetings with our VAs, and we say, all right, this is what this week's task is. This is what we expect from you guys. And we're stronger. And, you know, that is reciprocated by the people working for you. We also love to reward our people.
Yes.
You know, we one thing that that you've always said to the staff members is we had a meeting with one of our staff members the other day, and she had some family stuff going on. She needed some time, and she was trying to work, and I think one of her family members was really sick. Maybe even I think
she was in hospital.
There was, and we've had our staff members who have had family members passed away. And one thing that you said was that Kirsty said, I want you to know that working for us, that we're not just a company, we're a family. And if you have something going on in your family, I want you to be able to come to tell me what is happening so I can give you the space or give you the time and be like, hey, look, this task for the next 3 days isn't important. I want you to go back and I want you to spend that quality time with your family. Come back Thursday, refreshed, whatever. If you want to do some breath work with Bo, or if you want to chat or you need something, please let us know. And by communicating those standards and that level of respect, you're going to get so much more back out of your staff and your business. So that is something I really respect. Kirsty's an absolute workaholic. She is the brains and the business besides Believe in Your Breath and Now We Be Success, and another company that we are about to launch. And one thing my mate that we've been like conversing and talking about is buying back your time. So buying back your time is basically where you don't buy
another course or
another
invest.
and you also don't hire staff to scale or build your company. You hire staff to give you more time to focus on the things that you're good at, that you love doing, and then anything else, even down to checking emails. Like, people at a high caliber shouldn't be checking emails, shouldn't be doing your social media, something that you can pass off that's super easy that anyone else can do. And one thing that we are talking about, we've learned a lot from Dan Martell. Shout out to Dan Martell. He's absolutely an amazing man who talks about buying back your time. If you can find something that you can find someone to do 80% of you, even 60, 70% of you. If you can get 3 or 4 people being 60, 70% of you in your business, that gives you a fuckload time back. It gives you time back to be a mother or a father, do hobbies like basketball or fishing or whatever you love doing. And it also gives you that time back with your kids, your friends, and going back to enjoying life and not being a business owner or a CEO or someone who's just work, and that's all your personality is. So I want Kirst to explain a little bit about the changes we've done in our business. But I was explaining to a WeBreathe Success member only over the weekend after the retreat about how he needs to buy back his time because he's trying to do all these things. He's not tech savvy, so he's trying to learn all this shit. I'm like, man, you could be hiring someone who's such an expert at that. Not only are they going to take that stress away from you, but they're actually super good at what they do and they know what they're doing.
Yes.
So give that to them, and then you do your coaching. You're a fucking amazing coach. You show up in that coaching, and then you start buying back your time with all these people who are fucking experts in their fields, and they love doing what they do, and you do what you do. And he said to me, well, fuck me, I'm going to have to hire 4 staff members just to do what Kirsty does in your business. And it is true. Like, you are a workhorse, and that is where this podcast is. Over the last few weeks, we're starting to hire some really in-depth staff members, not to just do bits and pieces. A players, quality, spending more money on staff, and really getting experts in who know what they're doing in sections and knowing their jobs and what their jobs specifically are. So I've watched you step up as a mother. You've been more attentive in our relationship. Overall, like, 10 times happier.
That's it. And I suppose, like, the pivotal point with this was that, at the start of the year, you and me, we had some big discussions about, like, life and family and our relationship and business. And, and again, guys, this is being full transparency. Like, we still have issues in our relationship. You're always going to go through things. And business. And you're always going to be learning and expanding.
And kids and family.
That's exactly right. And you're learning about each other and the things. And, one thing Bo said to me was like, fuck's sake, Kirsty, I'd rather lose the business than I'd rather lose you.
Yeah, that hits me in the heart.
And it hit a lot of people in the heart when we spoke about this at the retreat. But he was like, I don't care about the business. Like, I'd hands down, like, leave the business burn.
That's not true. I care about the business, but I would rather not the
same value.
It's
as
not.
the relationship.
Like if the business was to ruin us, I would rather let go of the business. And at one point I even said, like, I'd rather go back and work for the man and still have you in my life.
That's exactly right.
Because when we met, we were working for the man. So we've created this together, and we've had a fucking amazing ride, and we've had ups and downs. But yeah, in a low moment, I said, you were really stressed. You were fucking working. You were up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Can I just say this also is that to get to where we've got to, guys, it will take work. And it takes a lot of work. And it absolutely did. Like, I have always been, I love business. I love startups. I love working. Like, there's no problem with me. For me, working is not the drag, like, I'd rather do that. I feel comfort in that. I love it. It excites me. But, we were going through this thing, and, I'm always stressed. I'm working, I'm pulling these massive hours. And then Bo said this. And so, with that, I started to go, okay, cool. I took that on board, and I thought, okay, cool. I don't want to work like this anymore. Last year especially was a big year of, like, I put in the hours, and we've grown the business and the company to where it is now. We have a beautiful empire. We hit 7 figures. So actually, before we get to the buy back your time, let's talk about the 7 figures. So this came out, we didn't even know. And isn't it crazy that we expect We expect that we thought when we hit X a number that you have in your mind, hit that 7-figure, we will have this, we will feel this way, we will have got this. Well, guys, we actually hit 7 figures a long time ago and we weren't aware of it. It was the only reason we were aware of it was because we went to the accountant and we were doing our stuff and he brought it to light for us. And we're like, what? So we're a 7-figure business. And he was like, a few months ago. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, how come we didn't know this? And we didn't know this. You want to know why we didn't know this? Because I was too busy. I was too busy working.
Yeah.
I was too busy working to really sit in the fruit of our labor. I was too busy in the work to appreciate or enjoy anything. It was always on to the next thing.
I think we're ticking a lot of ears at the moment.
Yeah, we were on to the next thing. Before we'd even finished the last thing, we were already on to the next thing. I'm consistently in the trenches, and then I'll be good for a little bit and then I'll be back in the trenches. So all of this was happening, right? And I wasn't even aware that we had hit that milestone that I thought that I'd feel something.
That's a bit of a coping mechanism.
It was definitely a coping mechanism, which I'm going to get to that part, the reason how we got into this part here. It's absolutely a coping mechanism. And I remember one of my best friends, Jade, after I gave birth to Harvey, she sat at my house and I was still, I'd been in the space for a very long time, wasn't into breathwork at that stage, and Bo heavily was, and I was working, I was doing my thing. She stayed at my house. I had Harvey. I'm going back and forth a little bit here, but I had Harvey, and I was going to this business, and we brought out Believe the Label, and she said to me, Kirsty, you know that this is a trauma response, right? The reason why you're so busy and you can't sit still and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, no, I love doing this. I love doing that because we tell these stories, right? We give ourselves the stories of why we do what we do, and she's like, no, it's a trauma response. And that was probably the start. Then I got into breathwork, and it was the unpacking of like 2 years of
deep. It only becomes a problem when it serves you until it doesn't.
Until it doesn't.
Because a lot of people come to us and go, well, this works for me.
Well, and that's a byproduct of pain. And that's why in the last episode I talked about, like at the retreat, there's a lot of high achievers in there that we build our empires on pain and hustle. Running from trauma. Using that pain as fuel, which is what I grew myself on.
And that's okay till it's not.
Until it's not, yeah. And it will only get you so far, guys, until you can't get any further.
But a lot of these people don't feel safe in comedy or slowing down or even...
well, we don't, because we're so used to the chase. It's right. The adrenaline.
It feels uncomfortable or unsafe.
It feels lazy.
Yeah, it feels all sorts of things in your unconscious mind and your nervous system, but it also feels foreign to... slow down and actually, appreciate what you're doing and what you're building and be present, right? That's where all the ADHD symptoms come from as well, from like all the trauma responses. I'm always addicted to something. I'm an obsessive, I am an all-in person. I'm either at the gym competing in something or I'm not. I'm either doing a competition like we did the 21-day challenge or I'm not. I'm either you don't half-ass shit.
I'm either a drug addict or an alcoholic or I'm not. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. Yeah. There's no in between with me, and so it's got me.
Just full scale either side.
It's full scale either side, good or bad. And in fact, I've got a tattoo on my arm here, which is good and bad, and it's the conflict between the right and the wrong. And I mean, guys, the addiction side doesn't go, just swaps genres, basically, and so I had this conversation with Bo, and he's like, I'd rather lose my business than I would my relationship. And so
my family,
I started having to really lean into that and go, okay, cool, we have built this beautiful empire, we've done all the things, but at what cost? And guys, let this be a reminder. There is always going to be a thing at a cost. So if I give 100% to my family, maybe I don't show up the same way in the business. If I give 100% to my relationship, maybe I'm not showing up the same way to my kids. So please know that there is always going to be a byproduct, and I'm not a person who believes in balance whatsoever. I do not believe that there is a balancing act between business and, kids and family and all that kind of stuff. I truly believe we're in seasons, and we get to choose the season that we want to be in. I do believe that. And I'm also 100% I'll get up in the morning, for instance, Bo went out on a boys trip just recently, and I had Harvey, and I was like, okay, cool. I had a few things to get done for the business. So I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I worked 3 to 8 before he got up, and I went all in on that. And then I did not answer any work stuff after it. So 8 till when I was with Harvey until Bo came home that night. Now, I couldn't have done that if I didn't have the right team in place. Okay, so this year was all about slowing down, feeling safe in the calm, feeling safe in not being busy, because I truly feel peace in the chaos, and that has been my story for a very long time. So when we went through some stuff recently this year, I took myself off to abroad for 3 weeks to really lean in and do the inner work. And I didn't want to continue on the hard work cycle. It's something that I have been trying to break for the last few years. This year, I've totally dialed in with that. And please understand, when we're doing the hard work cycle, there comes the time also is that we are control freaks, and we find it very hard to let our team to take fully over, because things won't get done the same way as I get done. And we talked about this in the last one. As long as 80% is done, by somebody else, then you're just checking 20%. That's perfect.
Well,
so
let's talk about like how Oprah lives her life.
That's exactly right.
Oprah has like a 4-hour morning where she wakes up and she walks and she does meditation and breath work. And then spends a lot of time with close family and people she loves. And
she has an hour bath.
She has an hour bath or whatever. And then she may spend an hour doing some business stuff. Or this is like just a general day as well, not like her doing like a show or an event or anything like that. But then she might just, check anything over 100K, any spending, she'll tick, okay, 100K. What was that bill for? What was that bill for? Whatever, spendings, finances. And then, then she spends the afternoon again going for a walk and relaxing. And another one was Richard Branson, that I heard that Richard Branson and all these entrepreneurs went on this like snow skiing trip. And all these entrepreneurs are in their like cabins going like, I can't come up the slopes today, like fucking blah, blah. And they've got like 20 staff and they're stressed to the bones and they're on the phone all day, on the computer all day. And you can imagine what they're like at home around their family and their partners and even like their own life. Like they're like that 24/7. They're probably not even sleeping. Richard Branson, who has a 500 companies or something crazy, like and billion dollar businesses. He's just on the slopes enjoying life. He doesn't even have to take his phone with him because he's brought back his time and he's implemented such strong staff members and strong systems and implementations, and he's been a leader and he's strong boundaries and strong standards in his companies that he can do that.
100%.
And that's the reason we do this. Like, how many people do you see that start a business and now they're working 10 times harder than they were for the man?
Where'd you gain? You will. To build something successfully, you do need to put the groundwork and you do need to build the foundation and stuff like that.
But eventually...
But then eventually the thing is that what got you here won't get you there. And you've heard this a million times over. You've seen the quotes. What got you to where
you are now won't get you to the next place you're going.
That's exactly right. Same thing, what I just said, but just a little bit elaborative with some words.
Same, but better.
But my thing here is, guys, is that the issue, the challenge that us entrepreneurs find is that trying to break now those habits, trying to now find safety in calmness, trying to let go of the reins because you've built this on pain and fueled it with, your trauma and stuff like that. So who are you without the company? Who are you without the busy identity?
Can I say it's a little
bit... Who are you without, the stories that you've created to get to where you are? So who are you? So your identity is caught up in your workload. Your identity is caught up with being busy. I prided myself on when I worked offshore, I prided myself on that. Everyone's like, man, you're like super mum. You're offshore, you're training every day, you've got businesses, you come home, you do this, but... And I prided myself in that. At the same time, I was falling apart inside. I was strong on the outside to the world. I was crumbling on the inside. I wanted that boss girl title, which, we fueled ourselves on like the hustle and like I can handle it all. And who the fuck made that up? Why should we handle it all? Why should we raise the family, have to work like the man, and also be the nurturer like the woman? Why should we have to do it all? And why did we build that up to make that be like cool? Like, why is that cool? And so I think in this day and age, in 2025, this ain't cool shit anymore. Do you know what is cool? Like, being at home with your family.
Yeah.
Do you know what is cool? Like, not having to get someone else to pick up your kids from daycare because you don't have to go to daycare, or that you can pick up your kids from school. Like, that's cool. What's cool is that being at home with your family and not having to trade your time for money, that's cool. And so I just truly want to turn that on its head. And one thing I started to realize about myself is that one of my biggest regrets and guilt in my life, which I don't have many, but one is that, I worked majority of my my older two kids' lives, especially Carson's life. He's 20 now, he's 21 next year. And I'm repeating the same cycles. I don't have to work as hard as I was, but I only know how to work like that. And so breaking my own patterns and cycles has been probably the hardest thing. So this year, once that conversation came up with Bo, and we're on a brink because we're moving to Dubai. Like, so, well, when you hear this, we would have already been in Dubai now because this podcast will come out. But we're building another company over there. That requires more team, more staff, me looking over that, and time. Now, I was like, if I do this, in the foundation we've got right now, will our relationship stand the test of time? I don't know. And so,
thank you for the
but I'm saying it's because you said I would rather we were already on the brink with the workload that I had.
That's why we're implementing
So that is
stuff.
exactly why getting to the point. That is exactly why I had to implement the next level. So I went out looking and okay, cool. I need another coach. I'm needing a new level of me. I need to learn how to break through these patterns. I need to let go of control, and I need to find A players. And so I went looking, and then Dan Mattel kept popping up. And I don't even know exactly what I seen, but I started having this conversation with him, and he was replying back to me, and we're going back and forth. And we were going to America for my mum's 60th, and then I just signed in that week 3 platinum clients within WeBrew Success, and I was like, okay, cool. I need to go to the next level with this. So I'm a big person. I always will reinvest in myself. Now, what I was reinvesting in myself with Dan was to learn the skills to buy back my time. And now the next thing is what we're doing now is that I'm investing in staff for that to become the reality.
Yes.
Instead of investing in another course for me to become better in marketing or better in sales, I'm now investing my money in the staff to do that job, so then I don't even have to think about it. I don't want to know about it.
That you spent so much time in the last few years trying to learn and do everything.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to learn how to
hire better.
do less.
Yep, to do less. Do less and hire better.
Can I just? I was going to ask this before, but you just kept talking. And that was cool. I know my place.
It's one thing to have a business or even the best product or service, but let's be real. When no-face Jackie32 jumps on Instagram throwing those nasty comments and you make it mean something about you, it doesn't matter how good your business is, you will crumble. That's why you need us.
Welcome to WeBrew Success, the ultimate experience for aspiring business owners, entrepreneurs, and coaches who are ready to break through to the next level.
Hi, I'm Kirsty Waddingham.
And I'm Bo Drury.
We're not just any mindset business mentorship. We are the world's best when it comes to mindset, breakthrough, and transformation.
Our approach combines breakthrough breathwork, powerful mindset techniques, manifestation, and strategic business coaching, setting you up for each week for success and action.
If you're truly serious about unlocking explosive growth, you're in the right place.
Success starts with one essential foundation, your mindset. Without it, even the best business strategies will fall apart.
That's why we go deeper than traditional coaching. We offer advanced biohacking and mindset reprogramming.
Your network is your net worth, and now you have access to ours. With all of this, success isn't just a possibility, it's your only option.
We're here to help you break through your old limits, step into extraordinary success, and create unstoppable momentum for growth. We cover it all: mindset, somatic strategy, community, and connection.
So are you ready to be the leader, visionary, and powerhouse that you were meant to be? Click the link below. Let's book a call. What? Like, do you think it's a bit of ego too? Like, you know, like Believe in Your Breath was my baby, right? And then you obviously came in, and you wanted to change the colors to pink because you're like, well, the fucking the science, the psychology behind it is most of your clients are going to be women and blah blah blah. And then you wanted to make it colorful, and part of my ego was like, no. And you're like, I wasn't thinking of the bigger picture. I was looking at it as personal.
Yeah.
And then we did like huge events and stuff like that. And you said, what if we what if we could franchise Believe in Your Breath out? And I was like, no fucking way. Like, this is my brand. This is my business. I don't want other people doing my breath work and blah, blah. And that is someone who keeps themselves small because they don't want to see themselves
You're too emotionally
bigger.
attached.
Yeah. Like my dad owns his own business. and he goes to work every day, 12 hours a day, in the rain, in the fucking heat, in the wind, in the cold, fucking doing physical work, and then comes home and complains about it. But if he spent the last, man, he's out of business forever. If he spent the last at least even 10 years buying back his time, he would have managers and people working for him, and he would have retired 10 years ago.
Can I just say also on that, that's the difference, guys, between a business owner / worker and an entrepreneur. He's a worker.
I see a lot of business owner workers, right? Who, you know, they start a business and then they're a slave to it.
They're a slave to it. They can't get out of it. Also, he got a little bit of trauma. He did hire staff. They fucked him over. He went, okay, never again. So what happened was...
He did have some bad stuff. So did we.
Yeah, so did we. But the only difference is that I'm like, okay, cool, we need to get better. We need to learn more. What do I need to do as a leader?
That's
did
right.
I not explain better?
I'm not bagging out my dad either.
No.
I get my hard work ethic from him. You
100%.
probably don't see that, but you know me in like
what
physically.
Do you mean? Of course I see that.
You always say,
I mean, this side of things.
This side of
Worker
things,
stuff,
I'm a hard worker.
You're a hard worker of being told the task to do, then you'll do the thing. But you
I'll
don't
lift
have
heavy shit and stuff like that. But organize things. But yeah, and you're more self-motivated. You're more self-driven, and you're children-driven too.
Yeah.
Like you've got that in you, and you've had that in you for a while. And which is another interesting topic. But yeah, look, I got nothing against my dad. Like he's great and he's provided for our family and stuff. But I look at him coming home, getting older, and slaving his fucking ass away, like taking his boots off every day at 5 p.m. and you know,
and just grumpy and
and I'm like, well,
he's tired.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
For my family or me. That's all I think about. And for me, I look at you getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you know, by lunchtime you're like absolutely fucked because you've done your meetings, you've done Weebury success classes, and then you know, but then we usually go into family time, but sometimes you're so tired. But another thing we had a chat about, which we've probably talked about on this podcast, was about disconnecting from the work energy and coming home to family. So one thing that you would come home, like basically kick the door open and be like, I've had so much, and that's what my dad does in his way, right? He comes home and he's like, oh fuck, it was hot today, or it was fucking rained all day today, and blah blah blah. And it's like, you know, I said to you, before you come home after work, I want you to spend an hour, breath work, beach, walk, have a coconut, have a beer, have a cocktail, whatever you need to do. Go for a walk, turn your phone off, listen to music, whatever your thing is. Do that for 1 hour, then come home with your mood boosted or your energy switched or your frequency changed, then come back into the family.
And go from masculine to feminine. And again, this is why it's super important, guys, to have a partner that understands, who also supports you, because my programming was I felt guilty. I'd already spent 12 hours out of the house.
That's right.
I wanted to just like quickly get home, but I wasn't coming home.
How dare you spend another hour away from your kids?
Yeah.
You've worked all day. Who am I to deserve that?
Exactly. And even though I've been working, I was like, it's selfish of me to go and spend an hour on myself because I've spent all that time away from the kids, but I've been in hyper-focused masculine energy.
But in reality.
And because you had said to me, hey, could you please not come home straight from work? Could you go and get a massage and do your thing first, come home an hour later? It gave me that permission. I'm like, oh, I can do that. Okay.
There's two things there. One, you deserve it because you've worked all day. And two, the kids deserve having a regulated
and also you get a better version. Like Bo does two things to me. One, in the morning is like,
I do more than two things to you, baby.
He does, but he does testers. So he'll wake up in the morning and go, hello, how are you today? To test to see
the first one's how did you sleep?
Yeah, how did you sleep? He wants to see.
And I know by the vocal tone whether I can not get away with or what I can get away with that morning.
What kind of mood she's going to be in. Okay, so don't fuck with Kirsty today. Oh, she's got high energy. She had a good sleep. Yeah. So he'd test that. Then it's like if I've been out working all day, I'll come home and he'll be like, okay, cool. And like, how are you feeling? Like, and I'm like, and he'll know, okay, cool. Like, don't have a conversation because sometimes guys, like, you know, especially being in this industry, like after the retreat, like I don't want to talk for a couple of days, man. I've just spent my whole time peopled out. I've given. And the same thing is like when I've been working all day, like sometimes I just want to come home, I want to lay down and I just want to not have a communicate, no conversation for a little bit. And Bo's like hasn't seen me, he wants me, and so this again comes back to buy back your time. So I was feeling very conflicted between I love working, it's my business, I love being busy, which again I've really reprogrammed that. And then obviously being a mum and being a partner, and I find it like, you know, being the woman, we're trying to keep everything, put all the little balls in all the cups, so then everything sort of stays the same and like doesn't break or whatever. And so I was watching this, and Bo wants my attention. My kids want my attention. I'm like, oh my God, I'm screaming like, can everyone just fucking not talk to me for a little bit? Like, I just need to like not talk. And so that was when like I started to go, okay, cool. I need to truly start to put some measures in place. And me and Dan were messaging back and forth, and I decided to go with Dan because of his book, Buy Back Your Time. And I just felt like I needed that new level, and and it's a heavy investment to work obviously with Dan. And when we were in America, in Vegas with my family, and my brother said to me, because I was on the phone, I was working, and he said to me, Kirsty, like you can't work like this. This is going to kill you. Like, you're just always on. You're just always working. You're always on the phone. You're always doing something. And in my mind at that moment, I was like, yeah, but that's the reason why you're in mining and you're never going to get out of that. Because this here, what I'm doing is like, I don't want to fucking do that. And for me, I'm like, I don't want to work in the mines and be dictated and be told that I have to work away from my family to come home, make some money, and have a nice house to live in, to basically like to work hard to pay off this mortgage. I don't want that for my life either. So I was like, fuck that, blah, blah, blah. But then I was like, he's absolutely right. So the more I got in with Jan, I was listening to his book. I was in, his courses. I was, getting tutored and coached by him. And then I was like, okay, cool. I need to get A players in. Like, this is time now. I need to let go. And so I have an incredible executive assistant, Layla. Shout out to Layla. She's absolutely phenomenal. She has been my right-hand girl. She just gets it. She's done hypnotherapy as well in the Philippines. So she understands the power of language and human beings. And if you work for us, we will heavily reward you. Like, we flew Layla over from the Philippines to Bali. She sent me some accommodation. She goes, hey, look, I can stay here, and it was $70 for like 5 nights. And I was like, what the hell? Where did you even find that? And she's like, oh, it was the cheapest one on Agoda. I said, absolutely not. My staff will not sleep in the cheapest one. It had bunk beds and stuff for that. And I was like, well, did you want to stay there? And she's like, was this the cheapest one? I said, absolutely not. Like, we'll put you in a nicer place. You have your own place, and it's got a pool and your own big bed and all the things. And we'll heavily look after our staff. If they do well by us, we reward everyone. And so that was the first one. Then I was like, okay, cool. Now we need someone who just specifically is great with tech. They're good with AI. They're good with automations, website, all the funnels, all the sales things.
Funnels.
All of that. Because here I was, again, was doing the thing, trying to find out how to build out these things. I'm like, this is a waste of my fucking time. I don't enjoy this. No. So we hired Mike. Shout out to Mike. He's joined our team. He is absolutely incredible. We have Yoga, who is a podcaster, video editor, who is absolutely amazing. Photographer, videographer. He's all of our things. So that is our team. We're about podcast,
so shout out to you.
Yeah, Yoga. Shout out to Yoga. We love him. He's a beautiful, incredible man. And after our last retreat, he sent us a beautiful message just saying, I just want to say thank you so much, like, for someone who was so desperate and down at that time, and you just came in and you gave me a job, and just what you guys have done is absolutely incredible. Thank you will never be enough. And like I said, when you're in our world, whether you are a client
he was
or a staff
as a
member,
driver, and I'm like, you're way too talented.
Whether you're a client or a staff member, you're family to us.
Yes.
You're family to us. And so this is not just a job. Like, this is like family. You're coming to the top with us and all that kind of stuff. So we've got the most incredible people in our space right now. We're about to start recruiting for customer success managers, coaches in our program, sales managers. Like, we're expanding so I can step back and just
closers?
In closers, so just so we can start stepping back and getting back my time. And because we've done this,
and we want to be more exclusive.
Am I a much more regulated, nicer person to be around?
Happier, more in present, and we're doing more, and we're actually making more money.
We're making way more money.
People's belief system is that if they don't work hard in their business, and if you don't bust your ass, you won't be successful. And which is one part true, but the other part is you can't do it on your own. And you can get to 100.
There's only one of me
a year easily, but you won't get any further than that by yourself.
Yeah.
So if you want to start making millions, you're gonna have to need a team, and you're gonna have to be a good leader, a good manager, and you're also gonna have to be great at orchestrating what needs to be done, because there needs to be some sort of leadership at the top.
100%. And just remember that guys, there's still going to be, you're working with human beings, there's still going to be issues and problems. We had a big challenge in our company not long ago with one of our staff members.
We've had heaps.
And, well, I mean, yes, we have had heaps, but there's this one in particular, and it is your job, it's your company. You are the leader. Everything is on you. It doesn't matter if you hire staff, whatever. It is on you.
Everything's your fault.
Everything is your fault. And if you take that type of accountability on, you can learn lessons. So I said, okay, cool. I apologize. Maybe I wasn't communicated enough there. And then she took full accountability. She goes, no, I should have double checked this. I said, okay, cool. What's the SOP? Well, let's put something in place now so this doesn't happen again, because nothing, guys, will teach you faster than business. Business on yourself, business in your business as leadership.
Nothing will teach you faster than doing.
Yeah, just do the damn thing, learn the lessons, and then make an SOP over it, So that's all I can say. And so,
can you explain an SOP for the people that don't know?
It's a standard operating procedure. So it's like how you do the thing. There'll be checklists involved. These are the steps to do this type of task. Checklist, tick it off. Double check, and now we've got staff members where they double check each other's work, and I just deal with my top level people, and then they deal with the team, and then they come to me if they need me. And guys, as the entrepreneur, as the business owner, and as the human that built an empire on pain and trauma and driven by that, the season here is that learning to let go.
Yes.
And to hand everything over. And so now I've handed over my email inboxes. I don't run them anymore. I've got my team running them, which was extremely hard. It's not easy to do that. To let my team do the emails, to do the social media,
time consuming,
all the time consuming things. I've completely let go, and because of that, oh my God, I do not feel stressed like I used to feel. I feel present.
Thank God. Fuck me.
Bo's like, yes, I get a happy partner, I get to be that present mum. I get to be all the things that I wanted to be when I built the business in the first place. But we do get sucked up in the drama of all the things. One thing I'm going to tell you, an email can wait, guys. Chill the fuck out. You do not need to be on your phone 24/7.
At 9 o'clock at night when you're putting the kids to bed.
That's exactly right. That client can wait. I have very, very strong boundaries with my clients because I had leaky boundaries before.
If you need emails checked at 9 o'clock at night, then you hire someone to do that.
That's
so you
100%.
can put your kids to bed.
That's exactly right. And so buy back your time. At the moment, if you can't afford to be in a coaching container with someone like Dan Mattel, his book is fantastic. I cannot recommend that enough. I listen to it on audio because then I can just be on my scooter zooping around Bali. Obviously now zooping around, but now I'm in Dubai. I've read the whole book anyway, but that was brilliant for us. And so
can I just say before you do your motivational speech, because this is Instagram Reel here. If you are talking to clients or checking emails at 9 o'clock at night, you're not setting strong enough boundaries for yourself. If you need to implement some sort of boundary settings with your clients or with your staff to tell them when and when not to be doing stuff, but also people who are clients that are sending you messages at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, there should be a boundary set saying I'm offline at these times.
100%.
You know what I mean? And if you've got a client in there saying, oh, well, you need to message me back right now. I've got this business problem or this problem I'm facing and I need you as a coach. You need to be like, hey, that's not how this works. If you want 24-hour support, it's either a much larger price.
Yes,
much larger, or this isn't the program for you.
Yeah.
Because that's not how it works. Yeah. Because then once you have this leaky boundary, you're trying to, someone's having a bad night and they're messaging you at 10 o'clock at night and you got a Friday movie night with your kids and you're on your phone. No, that's not how we fucking do things.
And it doesn't feel good. And, we said this in the last podcast, we've turned away a lot of people that wanted to join Web Success lately. And one of the clients that I turned away, I love her. She's amazing. But she wanted the 30K price and the level, the service for the 10,000 price and Web Success for 10,000 pay in full, $12,000 payment plan. But she wanted that, and I said no, sorry, I'm not going to be able to give you that level of service for that. If you're wanting that, then you're going to need to pay this, because I also completely value my time, and also you're allowed to say no. And I feel so incredible. Someone said to me the other day, I wish 10 years ago, Kirsty could see this version of you now. And
Yeah,
this
I
is
love
a
that.
person who was there, who was friends with my ex, who watched me go through the worst fucking hell of life, who, like, you know, who's seen me and in the lowest of lows, guys. And I want you guys to know, like, I've had all the problems. I've had all the challenges. I've had all the issues. So has Bo. And we are here because we chose to be. Not because we were a victim of circumstances. Not because bad things didn't happen to us. Not that the world that fucking tried to turn against us, because we still chose to show up. And now we put the implementation into our business that we have brought in A players who are family, who get highly rewarded to be in our world because we absolutely love them. We have the best clients that don't cause drama and shit because they're not available for that shit either. And that we get to be the leaders in this space to help other leaders rise the fuck up and put these measures in place for yourself so that you can be with your family, so you can be the best leader. When you show up and work at the highest level frequency of you and your authentic self, you allow others to do the same. And this is what this version of us in this season is all about. We are now, as you've listened to this, we are in Dubai. We are doing all the things. We've probably already started the next season in our new company. All the things are going on because we chose to, but we also chose to expand and get to this next level. It doesn't feel comfortable all the time when you're letting go, when you're moving from that pain-driven, trauma-informed empire that you built, and now you're trying to feel the safety in the calm and safety in regulation and safety in team and safety in that type of space and safety and guess what? And doing fucking nothing.
Yes.
Safety and slowing down. Like,
present.
there was a long time that I never watched movies or anything like that. And if I did go to sit down to watch a movie, I'd fall asleep because I was such a go person that once the movie hit, 10 minutes later, I was falling asleep.
No entrepreneur or business owner was on their deathbed and said, I wish I worked more.
100%.
So
I wish I had more money.
I wish I had more money. Yeah. So, like, it's all about the reason that you're doing things and getting yourself back. And remember why, the reason you started the business.
That's probably the biggest thing, remembering why. And in We Breathe Success, we have our Rich Within Success model that we work with. And one of the first part of the modules is the first shift. And I promise you, if you're in that program and you do the 7 non-negotiables, which one of them is to reevaluate your goals daily, 3 times a day. We have prompts that they have to set, because the version of you and me sitting right here, right now, it's a very different version to even a week ago.
Or the next week.
And so we're consistently changing and evolving. Exactly right. So please, like, you know, do the work, realize that, you know, to get you to the next level, you're going to put other things in place, whether that be that you need to lean in, do some more work on yourself, whether that be that you're going to invest in yourself in another course that feels stretchy because it's, you know,
or
money.
Hiring an expert on your team to
100%.
do things and help you.
Yeah. But buying back your time has been the biggest gift of all, and I'm learning a lot about myself and what's coming up and my identity and making a new identity, what it feels like to not be the boss bitch anymore, to not be the overworker, to not be the overachiever, that identity of feeling and slowing down and just getting to be with my family and all that kind of stuff. I never procrastinated, believe you me. But
a lot of people do because of all that.
They
get overwhelmed, they get burnt out.
That's exactly right.
And then they procrastinate, and then
because you don't want to feel the burnout, so you don't do the thing, and then that's it. Then that's just an anxiety, it's an overwhelm.
That's right. So
it's a vicious cycle.
Hire professionals. Take a step back.
Get the A players, guys.
Do what you're good at. Do what you love.
Yeah, and that's the last thing we'll leave here is that remember the things you loved. Double the fuck down on that. Zone in on that, and get everyone else to do the other things you don't like. But anyway. That's it.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Spill the Tea. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share something from this podcast if it inspired you, motivated you, or you learned something today. We appreciate you guys. If you're interested in joining our free community, the Success Lounge, the link is in the bio. Also, our social media there. Reach out to us at any time. We'd love to hear from you guys. Big love and enjoy your day.
Peace.